So I'm not going to go through all of this, but basically the big takeaways from this talk from a patient perspective, thinking about that actino sinus colonization in the nose. And why would you do that and not skip that? Because you've got to get your MSH up to be able to handle tick co-infections and parasite treatment. Those cause an increasingly amount of inflammation. And if your MSH is low, you're going to feel terrible when you're going through that process. And I think, we will see what the relationship is with MARCoNS. That's to be determined. If you're somebody that's not handling the herbals well, do you need a period of time of targeted antibiotics? I really, really suffered for a while with the narrative that's out there that antibiotics are bad. Antibiotics do change your gut microbiome, but they can save your life. And if you really need them, we need to have providers having open conversations about how to integrate them in. And if you need an antibiotic for a month to lower the load, to lower the inflammation, to keep your life stable, I think that's very important and we need to be real about it. You can always work on your gut again. You can work on it while you're going through it. But I really struggled with, is this the right choice? Am I making a huge mistake? You can absolutely gut optimize before and during to make sure you're doing it as well as possible. And then thinking about parasites. Do you have neuropsych symptoms? Do you have inflammatory intensifications or continued digestive issues that you really can't figure out any other reason for? The big thing with parasite testing that I will tell you is that the tests that they have, even the best tests in the United States, do not test for parasites that are global. And so going way back to that beginning with the global travel, eating around the world, those tests are not going to show you if you pick something up in Bali or Morocco. And so you have to have a provider that's going to be confident that they've ruled out other things through a process and that you're showing enough symptoms that it could be a parasite that just isn't going to show up on the typical testing. Keeping everything in balance is really important as we're learning with the nasal skin gut microbiome. Just killing all the time is not the answer. Is Bartonella underdiagnosed in the CIRS community? I 100% believe it is. It hides in your lymphatic system. It hides in your red blood cells. It hides in the lining of your endothelial cells, of your veins and things. And so it is definitely out there. And many people are coming up with this diagnosis and it needs to be handled to really move forward. And I think a piece of this that I want to bring up, that's my assumption, when we have a leaky brain with a high TGF-beta1 and MMP9, these bugs have the chance to integrate into your central nervous system and break through your brain barrier. And so I think that for me, I don't think it was like that the whole time, but the increasing headaches and the high level of neurological symptoms, I really think that it transferred not just from Bartonella, but to neurobartonella, crossing the barrier of my brain and causing, increased symptomology. So we really need to think about, the mold might have been the biggest dysregulator for in the very beginning and caused the immune system to be dysregulated to allow all these other things to happen, right? But it also makes our brain leaky and makes us more susceptible to neurolyme and neurobartonella, in my opinion. And then the basics: sunlight, nature, meditation, liver support, lymphatic drainage. Patients that are going through any of these Lyme and tick coat treatments really need to go through that. And basically, this is the question for the practitioners. Do CIRS long haulers need to consider more than just biotoxins to fully graduate from the protocol?